recently there was some worry that the state of Ohio would pass an abortion ban that would ban abortions after 6 weeks. Now, it was a fetal heartbeat bill, and it essentially indicated that as soon as a fetus has a heartbeat, which could be as early as 6 weeks, the abortion cannot happen. And even though state lawmakers had passed that legislation, thankfully, Ohio Governor John Kasich did not sign it. However, he did sign a 20-week abortion ban, which is a little problematic considering the fact that they do not make any exceptions except if the woman's life is in danger as a result of that pregnancy. And so there are no exceptions for rape, incest, or fetal abnormalities. Now understand that abortions after 20 weeks are extremely rare. Only about 1% of abortions happen under those circumstances, and it's usually because the fetus has severe abnormalities. Texas passed similar legislation, and I recently read a profile of a woman who was forced to give birth to a stillborn after the fetus was diagnosed with severe abnormalities. Instead of inducing the labor and dealing with it, she had to wait until she miscarried, and she went through the trauma of all that. So that's what a 20-week abortion ban is going to look like for women in states that live in Ohio.
So this is how they move the Overton window. So that is a political term about the range of where you can argue a position. Mm-hmm. So they want to limit abortions in earlier and earlier weeks. Now, according to Supreme Court rulings, it is unconstitutional to limit abortions unless the fetus is viable. So around 24 weeks. They want to move it back. So what do they argue for? 20 weeks? No. They argue for 6 weeks so that when they move it back to 20 weeks, instead of people fighting them, people go, oh, well, that's reasonable. Look at this, Governor Kasich, not as severe and extreme as the other Republicans. Well, look at that. I knew Kasich was a moderate, and boom, they already moved it back 20 weeks. And they'll do it again and again and again until they move the window all the way to the point where you don't really have an abortion right.
Yep, that's what they want to do. And honestly, what a lot of conservatives are attempting to do now, especially with a Trump presidency in our near future, is pass controversial and, unconstitutional abortion laws that will then get challenged in the Supreme Court. And if Trump has his way and he nominates a conservative Supreme Court justice, who knows what could happen? And so that's the reason why they're doing this. Now, in this case, Kasich looked at the 6-week abortion ban and he was like, yeah, this is clearly against Roe v. Wade, and I'm not even wasting my time with it, but the 20-week ban makes sense for him. So we'll see how this all goes, because even something like a 20-week ban might be challenged in the Supreme Court.
Podcast the whole 2-hour Young Turks every single day, commercial-free, All-Star Tuesdays, Aggressive Progressives, Old School, Post Games, TYT Classics. You get it all with membership. Do it now, tytnetwork.com/join.